With the incredible arrival of the second episode of the Season 2 of Helluva Boss, we had a very interesting revelation regarding one of the specific relationships that before had only existed in theories, but now have finally had the possibility of becoming something much greater, passing from just a thought to turn into something official and recurrent on the series. I'm here today to explain to you guys all about the evolution of the relationship shown in this new episode about Octavia and Loona, since their past where the girls had never seen each other for the first time and their respective histories, up to the moment in this episode, that led to them maybe getting together in the future and how exactly that will happen. So leave a like in the video and subscribe for more Helluva and Hobbs content for you guys. In the second episode of this Helluva Boss second season, we were presented for the first time in this series to a different type of relationship. This one is between Loona and Octavia, having both of them before this point having not even talked to each other before. But in this episode, all of this was altered in a completely majestic way. Since with all this character development that we had in this episode for both of the girls, we can also have an exact understanding of how all of that happened, having the personality of each one of them since their childhood being one of the most important facts in the sequence, and on how the two of them ended up together and having a relationship. But for me to be able to explain further about how the second episode altered the development and the relationship of these characters, giving it a possibility no one was even imagining before, I have to first explain a little bit about the story and the background of both Loona and Octavia, so you can better understand how they ended up getting along so well, even being so different. Or maybe not so different that much. Octavia, since her childhood, was always extremely lonely in her Goetic palace, even being a little similar to how Stolas was when he also was a child, being her biggest company, her super protective father that always took her to see the stars and would protect her from everything he had, leaving her very naive and innocent regarding the hell that was outside of the walls of the castle. Growing up Octavia this way, always loving her father a lot, but also always being completely alone and not being able to relate or express herself that well, becoming a goth and wearing clothes of that style to fit her personality, even more when her life started to fall apart after her dad was caught cheating on her mom. Being this taken to a level even further beyond when we witnessed Stolas forgetting completely about seeing the Tears of Azathoth with his daughter, which was a millennial event that he had promised that he would do, only to ignore her while he was having a discussion with Stella through the phone, make the girl become completely enraged and hurt inside to the point of running away from there only to see the stars and escape all of that. Passing now to Loona's history, that in comparison with Octavia's is much more worse and tough, with both of her parents either having been murdered or having abandoned her, which forced the girl to live in an orphanage since her childhood days, only having her anger and her punches as her allies, and fighting all of the disgraces of hell as her enemies. And so like that, creating the same way as Octavia, a self-centered, indifferent and lonely personality, always keeping everything she felt only to herself and never being able to really relate to someone else. And even after she was saved from there by Blitz, the girl had never even been able to show him how much that mattered to her, and always just attacked him as a way of self-defense. Getting to such a point that this aggressive personality from Loona was causing her to beat the shit out of Blitz just because it suggested her to be a little less rude with the clients, which also makes him take a more tough and extreme measure to deal with the situation, threatening to replace her, which ended up hurting her a lot, and confirming that this episode since its start had both Octavia and Loona really hurt inside. Being this episode that we see Loona receiving the task to find Octavia by Blitz, after both of them had been kidnapped by the TV crew, which you can witness Loona making a lot of progress on that by having the same idea as Octavia to take a selfie with the image of the Star Owl to post on his Instagram, that is Hell's version of Instagram. allowing her to be on the girl's trail after having the exact same thought process as Octavia regarding the selfies, going from photo to photo through the various locations scattered throughout FLA, up until where she finds the girl sitting on the protection barrier of the observatory that overlooked the city at night, with no hope to see the edit of stairs anymore. Presenting herself to Octavia using her hellhound form to bond with her, and allowing them to start having a casual conversation, with Loona commending her photos in a way to make Octavia comfortable, being Loona also almost as close and recluse as Octavia, and because of that, she can heal the girl perfectly without forcing her to say something or do something like that, like everyone else does. Allowing Octavia to open her heart to Loona, putting all of her feelings aside that she was holding back and all the remorse that she was feeling towards her father alone, causing her to apparently hate Stella more than he loved her, having completely ignored the girl just to keep fighting with his ex-wife. And with Octavia opening up about her feelings, that allowed Loona to comprehend the situation and start giving tips to the outlet about how the things were not so simple like that, and even if her dad had a lot of problems, he still loved her, and a lot, and that would go to the ends of the earth just to get her back, bringing her back there to Los Angeles just to save her. And finally, like that, Loona is finally able to make Octavia understand what her father was really going through and just how much he loved her, and like so, bringing all the remorse she had built up to an end, hugging Loona as a big thank you gift for all that she had done to her, without even truly knowing her. Loona then hugs her back, showing that she also cared a lot about Octavia and liked the hug. Showing this to us that with both of their personalities being very similar, this allowed them to understand each other and relate very well, being both Loona and Octavia lonely, goth, and very recluse to themselves, being able to understand exactly what the other one was feeling and truly going through. Also being permitted in that way that a certain sentiment could grow inside both of them, caused by the finally finding another person that felt that way, after having to endure since her childhoods the horrors of an orphanage or having been completely alienated from society by having a super protective, infinitely powerful dad. And so after so long, both Loona and Octavia would have possibly found a friend that they could truly trust, and after being silent for so long as well, share with either the other one about everything that she had gone through and feeling the relief of not having to keep everything inside, suffering alone while everyone around ignored them. They finally had found what they always been searching for. Being this relationship able to flourish into such an incredible friendship, becoming the two of them best friends, or maybe even soul sisters, in the next episodes of the series, being Loona always at the side of Octavia, helping the girl out to understand her feelings and block her solitude, and also the disconnection from society that both of them had, and like so, having the chance to finally become so much more. Because from a very long time in the community, people had already theorized and shipped a lot Octavia and Loona together, even with Octavia not being 18 and that being kinda weird. But let's put that aside right now. Having these people seen a grand opportunity now of a bigger bond between the two of them, from the poor nobody hellhound from an orphanage and the galactic princess of the apocalypse with infinite future power that had everything. And with this episode, the ship ascended literally to the stars. Even more after how each of them understood the other and how they related so well on that sequence. Being able to help not only the other with their problems, but also himself with everything that she was feeling. And making them go both ways. But also on the final hug, that increased even more the chance of the ship happening or of them becoming sisters. Being Loona, finally able to have someone at her side that she needed a lot, while Octavia would have Loona to block her solitude that always haunted her, with her only having her dad, in which both of their goth matching personalities would be perfectly fit, becoming possibly a power couple and a half. Being like that, in the future of Helluva Boss and its episodes, both of them being seen much more together and becoming ever so bigger friends, waiting that Loona would not only betray Octavia's trust like Blitz did to Stolas in its past, but knowing how Loona is, I'm sure none of that would actually happen, and they would get along very well. Also being possible that this love between the two of them would be ever more explored and expanded upon with each new episode of this season and maybe even the future ones, allowing the story of someone that has nothing like Loona with someone that has everything like Octavia being together and be expanded upon more and more, being the brick of the castle and the race system. But even with this beautiful story about Loona and Octavia loving each other and getting together in the future, that would possibly piss off even more Stella and her family, that could try to do unthinkable things against the Hellhound. So in any way, as friends, sisters, or girlfriends, the story still has so many incredible things to reveal. And so I end this video telling you guys about how interesting and important all of these revelations that we had about Loona and Octavia's relationship in this episode are, since as it was said in the video, they could very well be the salvation of the other one, having gone through so much and understanding the solitude of the other, being Loona and Octavia, the two characters that I'm the most interested about knowing the resolution of their magnificent relationship. Thank you guys so much for having watched my video. I hope you guys enjoyed my explanation regarding the relationship between Loona and Octavia and its evolution along the time, according to each of their lives and stories, being them possibly becoming in the future friends, sisters, or even girlfriends. So leave a like in the video, subscribe, and check the main channel for more incredible things related to Helluva and Hasbin. Tamo junto, galera!